So I am tasked to report the theoretical perspectives in the sociology education. We have functionalist, conflict, and symbolic interactionists. Let us talk about the very first theory, the functionalist. It focuses on the positive functions performed by the education system, such as creating social necessary for work, teaching core values, and rule allocation. It also starts with the assumption that education is an institution to facilitate the stability of society, which emphasizes interconnectedness by focusing on how each part is influenced by the other. So, I like to think about this theory as the following. If it broke, don't fix it. If it breaks, it will work itself out. It is a macro sociological perspective. That means they're looking at the institution of education and on how this institution necessary for society to function. Functionalist theory likes to look at society as like human organisms, like all parts are needed in order for the body to exist. Looking at how society functions is looking at how all institutions work. Together, it's going to be looking at how come together in society. It's unity, whereas conflict theory is looking for the conflict. So what is this theory's implication to education? It established relationship between schools, institutions, and society, which must fulfill necessary societal functions to produce stability. Education needs to be systematic as a whole to avoid being non-operational. The school's main function is to prepare students to acquire basic knowledge, skills, and values for future employment. Basic functions of schools for socialization, teaching children to be productive members of society, selection and training of individuals for positions in society. The next one is conflict. So conflict focuses on issues of contention, power, and inequality, highlighting the competition for scarce resources, focuses on cultural as a social product. Believe that educational system reinforces the perpetual social inequalities and that arise from differences in class, gender, race, and ethnicity. Marx contended that school gives a false set of ideas and the lives of students in terms of education quality. Many believe that there are quality and chance of having quality education. So this is a macro sociological perspective. That means it looks at the greater society, the big institutions. So the founder of the conflict theory is Karl Marx, of course with his Communist Manifesto. Now, don't let that scare you. The Communist Manifesto really was just talking about how the history of all hierarchical society is the history of class struggles. Conflict theory is going to be all of social life as competition for scarce resources, since not everybody's on an equal playing field. So what is the implication of this theory to education? The quality of education has set of standards of what is acceptable to be at its best. It gives the notion that inequality in terms of what they may become and could get from their work is also expected. Those who are more privileged to have better resources for learning and achieving more are given what they really need to develop their skills and to be competent, while those who are not capable or less fortunate ones are not given the right learning opportunities that limits their abilities to what they are only provided with. And then last one is the symbolic interactionist. It focuses on how people share symbols and construct society as a result of their everyday interactions, uses cultural symbols such as words and nonverbal body language and gestures during interaction. Through process, people develop a sense of self and create a reality with others. So, this theory looks at the nuances of everyday interaction. So symbolic interaction is micro because it was looking for people interaction within the society. And if also people want to revolt against the society, the way in which they do it and indicative of the type of society they live in. It is how individuals interact with another individual. So what is the implication of this theory to education? Interactions between students and teachers help develop a set of expectation for students' performance both in academic subjects and discipline. Students learn through interactions that they are developed from others on individual experiences, social class, and status.